Yo.
Yes, sir. Another week, another episode. Best of both worlds of wrestling podcast. I am Chris.
And I'm Khalil.
And we're gonna jump right into it. Hot tag. Hot tag first.
Yeah, hot tag first. As you all have become accustomed to, we will not shortchange you and begin our show with CM Punk news.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
According to you, because I think you're the Godfather of AEW on this show. He's confirmed for Collision. So tell us more.
Yes, he is. Punk officially confirmed. Officially confirmed for Collision. There so according to the dirt sheets, there was some paperwork that had to be worked out, like some legal stuff that allegedly AEW wanted Punk to sign before anything moved forward.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they didn't wait. That's why they waited until this past Wednesday to announce the first Collision shows in Chicago. And so the things, I don't know how much of this is true because some of it sounds ridiculous. So we all know about Ace Steel coming back.
I wonder if that's
Apparently,
his real name. That sounds like such a
nah, that's a straight up
that's a
mid
street.
'90s, early 2000s
Yeah,
in
like
ring name. Like, nah,
I
that's
can
not.
hear the music. I can hear the music already, Jim
Hell
Johnston.
yeah, I can see him opening match on Metal
Yeah, definitely.
or Jacked.
Like fighting
But
Hakushi.
yeah. So he's back, and I think the caveat to that was he has to work remote. He can't go on the road. He can't show up to any arenas. He's basically working from home because he
Wow.
did bite somebody. Like, let's not forget that. He, of all the rumors, the one thing that's legitimately confirmed is that man bit another man.
It's
But
wild, man.
another thing was that apparently the the Young Bucks were the ones who wanted Punk on Collision on Saturdays, which I can't buy that. Maybe they didn't want to work together, but I don't think it was a thing where, well, he has to go on Saturdays. He can't be on Wednesday. Like, I don't think they have the cachet to do that.
I don't put nothing past nobody at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it could be something they wanted, but I
Right.
don't know if they had the power to make it actually happen, you
Understood.
know? But
Understood.
and then he said, according to Punk, he was never like, remember that whole thing, what was it last week, that he might not show up? Apparently he said it was never going to be that. Like, he was always going to show up regardless of what the information out there was, and how he just wants everyone to move past it, which we all want, because I'm honestly tired of hearing about it. I just want, is
You
he
want to see
on
the
TV or
product.
not?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But so he's back, long story short. So things are moving forward. Things are moving forward. I think, some of the roster is excited. The roster who loves Punk. Brody King tweeted 2 words, straight fucking edge, even though that's
Oh,
3 words.
oh God.
But because he's straight edge too.
That's how I knew
Actually,
it. That they'd be really, I mean, no shade to any straight edge listeners, but they'd be excited to be like,
yo, like, I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's like 50% of the roster is straight edge. There's a lot of the new wrestlers who debuted within like the last 15 years or so, or for the most part, straight edge.
they'd all be
Like,
eating muffins at the pressers after the match.
yeah,
Got you.
drinking a Pepsi and shit.
There you go.
But because I know Alex Shelley famously is straight edge. He's just never,
That was my
bragged
dude,
about it.
man. That was my dude.
Nah,
That's
he's the
Motor
guy.
City Machine Guns, right?
Yep, yep.
Who was a partner again? You remember the name?
Chris Sabin.
Yeah, man. Them
Chris
dudes.
Sabin. They
They was
still
hard.
active.
Yeah,
They
man. Them was my guys.
I think Sabin's fighting at the TNA show tonight for the X Division title, if I read it correctly. But yeah.
Goddamn. Okay.
So, Brody King, people like Danhausen, Hobbs. I'm sure they're happy to have Punk back. Not that they were picking sides, but those were the people we know confirmed genuinely liked Punk and were close to Punk during his first stint. But
Nobody is all bad, man. That's what people need to understand. Like,
yeah,
you know,
we
and
contain multitudes.
there's no way that whole fiasco with the brawl out was all of CM Punk's fault. There's just no way. So,
Nah, it
so,
takes two. It takes two to tango and
feel
two to
me?
brawl. You know.
Yeah. So, yeah, hopefully people do move past it because it's getting old.
Yeah, and we want to get back to the wrestling.
Straight
But
up.
so June 17th, I will be DVRing it depending on what's going on that day. Actually, I might be throwing a barbecue that day. I gotta check my calendar.
No, say less, yo.
Yeah, so I'll be home. So I'll definitely be home for it because I'll be having people over, but I don't know if I'll be watching it actively.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
So, but it's gonna be on the DVR anyway. Sunday morning watch. A little Sunday morning wrestling never hurt. It's like back in
Never
the old
that.
days watching Worldwide on UPN.
So that when I didn't have cable, that was my ticket to WCW, boy.
That shit
Right?
saved me,
What was
man.
it before? Wasn't it Battle Dome? Used to come on either before or after it. That's
Battle Done came on right after my man Team Money,
for the
aka
my
Terry
first
Crews.
yeah. So my first opportunity, funny enough, to interview a celebrity with Blavity where I work is I had the opportunity to interview Terry Crews and his wife for some book they wrote. Wasn't excited to interview Terry Crews at the time because he just wasn't hot in the streets no more. He was talking
Yeah,
some wild shit like people to fuck with. I was
yeah,
like, all right.
yeah.
And it turned out I've said, damn, this is not like the first opportunity I would want to interview somebody, but I'm gonna take what comes and build off of it. Turns
Yeah.
out it didn't work with his schedule. Didn't get to speak to him, but I spoke to his wife.
Okay.
And I told his wife, I said, first time I seen your husband on TV was that American Gladiator ripoff thing they did with Battle Dome. And she said that was his first job in Hollywood. Was that gig. And I said, yo, I watched it because it felt like wrestling. And I felt like he had the best gimmick out of everybody
Yeah.
on that show.
Hell yeah. Team Money was that guy.
Dude had suits every week and just like he wearing these gold chains and beating people up. And she was cracking up. I
And
said, nah, like
he had the
I'll never
briefcase
forget
full
it.
of money too, right?
Briefcase full of money. He had like handlers. And like, oh, it was
Yeah.
funny, man. It was funny. I wish people would.
Yeah.
Very few would remember Battle Dome, man. But
Yeah. Yeah. You had to be inside.
yeah, like you have to be a fiend for that, man. So
Yeah.
shout out to Team Money and all that, man. But
Oh, yeah, but that was the Sunday mornings, man.
it don't hurt. It don't hurt. I look forward to catching it probably the day after as well, because
Yeah.
I know people shit on wrestling fans, man, but I probably will be busy on Saturdays. Touching
Yes.
grass, as my
Yes.
Phil would say.
Touching grass and trying to touch other things. You
Feel
feel
me?
me?
Feel me?
You feel me?
You know what I mean?
Sundress season, maxi dress season.
Yeah.
Demon time. You feel me?
Yeah, never gets
Like,
old. Never gets old.
nah.
So we also got injuries, unfortunately, to report. Mercedes Mone, the former Sasha Banks, got nicked up recently. Can you tell us about that?
Unfortunately, it's from the reports, it sounds like a broken ankle.
Yikes.
So her and Willow Nightingale wrestled this past weekend for New Japan Strong, for the New Japan Strong Women's title. It's a new belt. The reports say that the belt was created once Mercedes signed her long-term deal with New Japan. So I'm assuming she was slated to be the first champion. But unfortunately, as things go in this business, in this sport, she hurt her ankle. I don't know if it was midway through the match or towards the end, but it was, I think they rushed the finish. So Willow ended up winning with like a power bomb because she didn't want to do anything that put too much pressure on Sasha's leg.
Right.
And Willow, shout out to Willow though. We all love Willow.
Yeah.
You know
No
what I'm
doubt.
saying? Because of the circumstances, she ends up being the first champion.
It's okay.
And yeah, it's okay. Like if you gotta win like that, you gotta win like that. But she deserves it still anyway. Would love to see Mercedes as the first champ, but things happen. And then she got carried out
I saw that video. I
of the
saw
ring.
clips of that,
Yeah.
and she looks sad and in pain.
Yeah, yeah. And then she posted a picture from the hospital on her Twitter saying, I think the caption was like, I didn't expect it to go this way, but I'll be back. But yeah, no real confirmation on if it's a broken ankle, but from what it looked like, it's if it's not broken, it's a horrible sprain that she had because she could have put
Yeah.
any weight on the foot.
Eesh.
So
Not
speedy
good scenario.
recovery to
Yeah.
Mercedes,
Yeah.
fine ass Mercedes.
Yeah, man. Shout out to
You
her.
know, yeah,
No doubt. Well, yeah, man. She's had to deal with some of these injuries from time to time.
yeah,
It's unfortunate.
yeah. And it's crazy because there's been a string of injuries amongst women's wrestlers recently. Like I think
Jamie
just
Hayter, I
on
heard, is hurt.
yeah, Jamie Hayter, I think
Yeah.
dislocated her shoulder. On the WWE front, I believe
Dakota Kai, I heard. They live in Morgan.
Liv Morgan shoulder bum shoulder. Dakota Kai tore her ACL.
Oh, jeez. That's
So and the way it sucks because she tore it. So her and Liv were having a match. So Liv hurts herself in the match and doing a move trying to protect and injure Liv. Dakota ends up tearing her ACL.
ugh.
So it
Painful.
sucks to have that happen. And she recently just re-signed with WWE like earlier this year too after being released. So to see this
Right.
happen, is
She
she
was
still in
about to
damage?
she's yeah, I mean, she was supposed to be with freaking, my
Was
shorty
it damage
name.
control?
Yeah,
Bailey?
but what's Bailey? She's supposed to be with Bailey. Um, I think they moved to SmackDown and they're just gonna be the both of them.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought I
Yeah.
thought that's what it was, and they were gonna be a tag team. But it's okay. I mean, Bailey is gonna she'll shine regardless.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, hurt it sucks to see people get hurt, man. None of them things are fun.
Nah.
Um,
Nah.
so
Especially when it's an injury like that, you
yeah,
know,
it's tough. It's tough. Um,
with a speedy recovery to all those
all the
injured.
goddamn
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see.
tell us some more about this Hogan. I've never heard about this shit. This Hulk Hogan
Oh,
mushroom and CBD endeavor.
so before we started recording, I was just browsing the form I usually peruse, and the first thing I see, Hulk Hogan starting a mushroom, THC, and CBD company. Everybody getting into the drug game now, baby. You
Man,
know what I'm saying?
take your what do say your prayers, take your
Say your prayers,
vitamins,
take your
smoke
vitamins,
your weed.
pop a cap, a
Yeah,
mushroom cap,
you know what I mean?
trip out.
Microdose.
Listen, microdose and watch Hulkamania run wild all over your imagination, man.
The irony of it all, money is everything, man. Once
Yeah.
you made these things, I didn't even really realize. I didn't think mushrooms were legal. So that's
Yeah,
interesting.
I didn't know either. I didn't
Yeah.
realize that either. I didn't think any psychedelics were legal, but
Yeah, like I understand that people are more open to them and like it's accessible and people fuck with them,
yeah,
but I didn't know like you could market yourself as selling
that shit surprised me.
hallucinogens.
That shit surprised me. And I
So
mean,
I don't know what that means. Obviously, I think also it probably depends on what state you're in. I would love to know where he's.
true,
They ain't not doing. He
true.
not selling that shit out of Hogan Beach shop in Florida. I know that much.
Nah,
Floridians don't want to have no fun, and they want you to have no history. But
hell
that's a
no.
story for another day.
Bum
Um,
ass, humid ass, raining ass,
and
rain
so
for
yeah,
5 minutes, sunny for 10 minutes, rain for 15 minutes, sunny for 5 minutes. Ass Florida.
dude won his Gawker case, and that 30 mil or 130 mil that he won, that it wasn't enough. I guess you got to get into
Nah,
this.
and that's crazy. Yo, I forgot he killed Gawker. I
You know
know
they have that
people
show
who
that
lost
comes on.
jobs because of
There's
that shit.
there was a show. There's a show that comes on after Raw, I think, or basketball, one of them things, and they talk about some of these scandals. So they had an episode on Dennis
Oh,
Rodman.
oh yeah, on TNT. Yeah,
Yep.
it came on after Inside the NBA.
They had a joint on Dennis Rodman. Then I watched majority of the one they did on Hulk Hogan.
Hmm.
And yeah, I always remember he got a big bag from that win, but I was like, is either 130 million or 30 million? I think he really got 130 mil out that
Yeah,
joint. But capitalist, man, it's never enough bread.
listen, that shit, like, one man took down a company, and all because they leaked his audio of him saying the N word.
Well,
Nigga.
is that? That and this weird thing he had going on, fucking his best friend's wife.
Bubba the Love Sponge, that radio
That
personality, that
that
weirdo.
friendship, that them types of friendships, that's some weird shit, man. You
Nah,
know?
that's some white people. I
Yeah.
can't even say that because I know some I know some freaks of all colors who we getting down to some shit like that. So I can't even say that.
Yeah, but to air your men's out, that shit trash, man.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
people there's no loyalty in there.
Nah,
You know
nah.
what I
When it
mean?
comes to getting that bag,
And not that I feel sorry for Hulk Hogan at all. I'm just saying on a general principle of a person,
yeah,
because I
yeah.
don't, because that dude never really gave a real apology. But
Nah.
for what he said about our people. But I mean, just generally speaking, just off principle, and you saying you somebody friend, I'm like, bro, you can't be airing it. Come on, son.
Listen, Hogan is don't want his daughters with no big black niggas,
Why don't he play basketball? Why can't he play basketball?
and then he want to sell weed.
The irony, yo. The irony. Well, moving along. Um, I happened to catch a bit of some dynamite clips Wednesday night after the show. I
Hmm.
couldn't help but notice to see familiar homicidal, suicidal, genocidal, death defying superstar come down the aisle. Uh, where the hell did Sabu come from, and
Yo,
why should we care that he's at Double or Nothing?
they found the ghost of Sabu. They took him from some episode of Dark Side of the Ring
Oh
and
God.
trotted his ass out. I know he lives in Vegas, and Double or
Okay.
Nothing being in Vegas, I guess that's the correlation. But I think the main correlation is so it's Adam Cole versus Jericho in an unsanctioned match at
Right,
Double or
right.
Nothing this Sunday. So no rules. It doesn't. I don't know. AEW doesn't acknowledge the records anymore, but the reasons for these unsanctioned matches in the first place was so that someone can take a loss but not have it on
On
their
their
official
record.
record.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there's no rules for this. So I guess Adam Cole trying to play mind games was like, I wanted to bring out the most hardcore person I know to have my back. And then at first, as soon as he said suicidal, I knew what it was. As soon as he said homicidal, I was like, are they really gonna bring this dude out? He said genocidal. I was like, all right, Sabu's coming out.
I'm gonna give AEW's credit here. They had that dude's music. They don't be playing about that music.
Yo, so
Give us that Sabu music, bro.
here's the interesting thing about that. So WWE owns the rights to the original music, and wrestling being wrestling, every other theme has been a remake with just one changed chord to avoid a lawsuit.
No good then.
One change. There's one version where it's pitched up, so it sounds a little bit higher than
Mm-hmm.
normal. And then the TNA version, which AEW use, has like I think once the guitar breaks down, that's when the beat switches up to avoid the lawsuit. But those first guitar riffs,
You need that,
unmistakable.
dude,
Yeah,
dude, dude. I was like, oh shit.
hell yeah, I love his
People
theme.
were excited to see him. I mean, I'm just very privy to knowing like that dude can't be bumping around. You know what I mean? Like it's not.
So
That's my thing. I'm like, how is he gonna affect this contest?
he's
You know,
listed as the special
Enforcer, right?
enforcer.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming he'll have very little physical interaction. Like he'll probably get in Jericho's face and then count the 1, 2, 3 for the match. But don't expect any triple jump moonsaults or Arabian face busters or Arabian leg drops, anything like that. He's gonna do as much as he did on Wednesday. Throw a chair.
What if he do that joint that like that Jeff Hardy joint that when he puts the chair and he jumps off the chair and just does like the thing in the
The little
corner
leg drop, right? Oh,
and he
the
jumps
little
into it.
skateboard one.
He might be able to do that.
Yeah, he might. He
He might be
might.
able to give you one of those, but do not look for the
Yeah,
joint where like he jump up with the leg drop, put the chair under his leg. Nah,
that ain't
he ain't,
happening.
that time is over.
That ain't happening. That ain't happening. So
That time is over.
the interesting thing I read was that so with these older wrestlers like from the 90s and some from the early 2000s, I don't really follow their social media because I don't need to. I don't like you ain't relevant anymore. Not that you're not relevant, but like you're not in my lexicon. So
Correct.
apparently well, not apparently, it happened years ago, like 2013, when Renee Young was still in WWE and she became the first full-time female announcer
What
or
year was this?
commentator. I want to say 2013.
Okay, nah, I gotta be a little later than
It
that.
got to be, yeah, maybe 2015.
Yeah, maybe I'll say maybe 17.
17, maybe.
I'm gonna say
Maybe. It's
17.
been
The
before
pandemic was
COVID, it's
going
a
on.
blur.
Yeah, yeah. I
Everything
know,
is a
I know,
blur now.
I know,
So,
I know.
but so there was a tweet congratulating her on becoming the first woman to hold that position. And then Sabu quotes the tweet saying, she's the first non-fag, but not the first cocksucker.
Yeah, he's a
And
wild card.
I'm like, bro, what? Like, first of all, what does that even mean? What does that even mean?
Uh, using cocksucker as a figurative term, I guess.
Well, here's the thing, but he's like the first non-fag, but not the first cocksucker. So, like, he's alleging that every man who did the job before was gay. He's not naming names though,
The
but
first one. Oh yeah, yeah, because
bro,
it's the first. Nah, I'm sorry.
yeah,
Excuse my language,
yeah,
everybody, but I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
breaking it
Pardon
down.
our
I'm
language.
sorry.
I can't. Yeah,
We don't subscribe to such language.
hell no, hell
but
no.
I'm
But
just
that's what he.
grammatically,
Yeah,
I'm an editor by trade, people. I'm just like,
yeah,
okay, I see what you're saying now.
and
So funny thing, it's Taz that congratulated her. I'm looking at this tweet.
oh yeah, it was a Taz tweet.
Taz
Yeah,
is congratulating Renee Young, and Sabu retweets Taz quoted and says she's the first non-fag, but she is one of many. Like,
yeah. Like,
what is that
bro,
about? It's like, yo,
that's
Renee Young is mad good at her job, man. She's
really
like,
good.
she's the
And what's
best backstage announcer in recent memory. Like,
yeah, my
maybe
favorite
since
since Mean
like,
Gene.
and those guys had like a personality, man. Like the talent will, even if you a heel, they respect your space. They don't
Hmm.
try to jerk you. Like, she's that type of. So she might be the best as Mean Gene. You
Yeah,
know, I
like
didn't think.
that's
I thought the coach was cool when he was backstage. I thought Michael Cole was cool when he was backstage. I don't think
yeah.
I think they were good enough. You know what
The
I
thing
mean?
was they were treated like lackeys backstage. They were always getting punked. So
But they're part of it. Like
yeah,
I just like the fact that for a long time they haven't been part of it. Josh Matthews is another one that was like kind of they punked them around, but like they was
yeah,
in on it. So I like that synergy.
yeah,
But
yeah,
Renee Young always seems to always have the respect of the talent. Like they would never
yeah,
go that
like
far with Renee Young. They might say some shit about John Moxley, storyline of
yeah. And she'll give pushback
yeah, like
if the
the
story
facials,
calls for it.
everything.
Hmm.
But
Which is, I mean, Mean Gene is the goat. Mean Gene is the goat. Wait, like
you know
Renee is
what?
very close.
He is never Mean Gene is like it will never be duplicated. Same way
Nah,
Howard Finkel will never be duplicated.
nope.
But like
Same way Bobby Heenan will never be duplicated.
yeah, like they're too, like that's another like I could
These are one
watch.
of ones.
Sometimes I watch certain old shows back just for the commentary or just for like the interviews and the antics and
Listen, I used to watch YouTube compilations of Bobby Heenan on commentary and Mean Gene giving interviews. Just like compilations of them. No wrestling, no nothing, just them.
just so man, they were just I don't even know if I'll call it ahead of their time. They were just talented people, man.
I'll say timeless because they could go in any era. They fit in any era.
You saw it. I
Any
mean, I
era.
think when WCW kind of it was around the 2000s, Mean Gene was about to wrap up. I remember
Hmm.
watching it was some pay-per-view and they had one of those newer groups, one of them newer factions
Yeah.
interviewing Mean Gene. Whatever group Sean O'Hare was in. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
the New Bloods. New
Okay.
Bloods.
And so
Yeah.
they
That's when they had the
backstage.
old heads versus the young dudes.
So they was backstage and like they was like trying to fuck with Mean Gene, and Mean Gene was he said some shit like "blow it out your ass, O'Hare," and I was just
I remember that.
I was like, son, this
I
dude
remember that.
don't be trying to fuck with my man Gene.
Nah. Nah, don't
No,
do
hey,
it.
blow it out
Don't
your
do it.
ass, O'Hare. I was like,
My
yo,
favorite parts is when he used to break character. Like he couldn't hold the laugh in, nothing. Like he'd hear something and he just burst out laughing.
just genuine, man. Shout out to that guy, man. We're losing a lot
Yeah,
of these legends, man. Like,
yeah,
I really wish people was out there like studying them for real.
yeah.
Like that's
But to
off
circle,
topic. But
circle back. I'm hoping Tony spoke to Renee and John before this whole Sabu thing, because I'm like, if I'm her or him, bro, I'm seeing you. It's on, like on site. I don't
Yeah,
care how old you are. I'm popping on you because it's not like he's apologized or been contrite. He's still more
he's
or
still in this
less the
way.
same person mentality wise. Because
He's in the
and
wrong
then
company, man, because they're super. They're giving opportunity to folks that you know
you you know what I
are
think
of
it is
different
honestly.
lifestyles and whatnot. Like,
You know what I think it is honestly.
what's that?
A lot of these people in the business know Tony was a fan first.
Mm-hmm.
Like he loves wrestling. So I think they take advantage of the fact that he probably has like a top five Sabu ECW match list or something like that. So I
Maybe.
feel like a lot of the older wrestlers, because of the respect he has for the business, they're like, oh, he'll give us a payday, boom, because that's what it feels like. Because there's
Well,
absolutely no other reason for Sabu to be a part of this. I mean, he had a couple matches with Jericho, but they didn't have a storied feud in
I
ECW.
I think that I think it's partially that, and I also think like I look at it like how Giannis got his brother over there in Milwaukee. That he don't do shit.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
He just
yeah.
looking out for his fam, and I just feel like the AEW is big. I think WWE is macro. It's like, yo, if you
Hmm.
need help with rehab and stuff, we got you, stuff like that. And I feel like
Yeah.
AEW is more micro, where it's like, yo, I heard you might need an opportunity, or you might feel on hard times. You could use a quick, you
Quick
know,
payday, quick buck.
10 racks, something like that.
Yeah,
I know you got medical bills. Don't be
yeah.
spending on no bunch of drugs. Come through, and they might look out for you like that. I mean, they giving people like Jake the Snake full-time jobs, which
Hmm.
I love.
Yeah,
I like that
yeah,
dude is working,
yeah.
and he's doing well. So like it helps.
And Tony's
Um,
a generous dude by nature. Like they
mhm.
as an aside, they just signed this tag team Aussie Open. These two Australian dudes, they've been wrestling for New Japan for years without an official contract. So they've been
Okay.
doing pay per appearance basically their entire careers. And they were the New Japan tag team champs before one of the members blew his knee out.
Yeah,
I think he got a torn patella or something like that.
tough.
So the other member, Kyle Fletcher, is who he wrestled this past Wednesday, Orange Cassidy for the international title. Really good match. A couple of my gripes were in the match, like big moves leading to false finishes, but
Hey
other
man,
than that, it was
talking
a
my
really good
language,
match.
bro. You talking my language.
Yeah, I saw the way the more and more I see it, the more I'm like feeling that way, especially
Understand
when
me
it's like
when
dude hit a tombstone, followed up immediately by spinning tombstone, and Cassidy kicked out. Even though Cassie's what I started to realize is Cassie's gimmick in match wise, besides him being underrated or lulling his opponents into a false sense of security, is that they've always built him up as this dude who kicks out of everything and then wins by the skin of his teeth. Like you have to literally lay him out to take him out, which is fine. Like he's 40, he needs this run because he's 40. I just found out he's 40. He don't look it,
mm,
but
I
so
it annoys me, man.
yeah, it
Look, it
does.
annoys.
Like,
I love Seth Rollins. When I watch him do that superplex that he does,
mhm.
and then he does like a Falcon Arrow,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then I'm like, bro, that
Someone that's a 1, 2, 3. It should
come
be.
on, son.
Yeah,
That's that combo of moves is like, bro, no. And I know
yeah,
and I know what it is. I think he knows that, but the culture has changed,
yeah,
and now it's like that's what is people have come to expect from a match, and that has become a transitional sequence. And I'm like, my
yeah,
G, I just took a superplex and a Falcon Arrow in succession, not even any time to sell anything. I should be done.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah. It's
mean? Like,
starting to that shit's starting to bug me now. But
you know,
so after the match, Tony tweeted that Aussie Open were all elite, and it came out after that Mark Davis, the other member who has a blown out knee,
right?
Tony paid for his surgery,
Yeah,
and he
that's
blew his knee out like a week, 2 weeks ago. So I guess he
it's a
paid for the
blessing.
surgery before signing them, and it was like, yo, I rock with you guys. And I think it's a good signing because now with Collision, you can have depth on two deep tag team divisions on either show.
You want to bolster that.
Yeah, and they're a really good tag team.
Do we know if Collision sort of is taking the place of Rampage?
No, so Rampage will still be on Fridays, but the spirit of Rampage will be more like what AEW Dark was.
Okay, so
So
it'll be
it'll be an
way
out.
more enhancement people, not enhancement, but just
Yeah,
well, I guess some enhancement, but just like people that are definitely not getting enough of a look.
yeah, yeah. Little hour on TV instead of on YouTube, and
So that should more be like that should be more like the NXT.
yeah, yeah. I think that's what it's gonna be.
Okay,
Yeah. So
it's a lot of
which is
programming man in back to back days. But I mean, WWE does it also. I just don't watch everything. I can't
yeah,
on the
it's
time to do it.
impossible.
Yeah,
But well, I think DVR counts towards the Nielsen ratings now too. So
it should. It's being watched.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I
I'm
guess
mad
in the
at that.
long run, it doesn't affect the numbers. It'll affect the raw numbers, like people who viewed that night, but I don't think it'll affect the total viewership overall. But yeah. Oh, and another thing, back to Sabu. Found out in December, this man posted a picture of some coke on
I'm
his
not
Instagram. Like, bro, what are you doing?
doing that dope. That's right. That's
Shout out
right.
to Smokey.
That's right.
But my man had a full line of coke.
This is
Like,
on
bro,
his
what are you
IG.
doing on his Instagram? Not his Instagram story. It was posted to his Instagram
Do you know
page.
if it's still there?
I I don't know if it's on his page, but you can
Is it called the Real Sabu ECW?
yeah.
Oh God.
Hold on. Pause for a minute.
I guess the coke could bring on the strokes, yo. But Sabu, man, be safe, homie,
Yeah.
and learn
And
from
that
this.
line was looking crazy. Like
That's
he
a
needed toilet paper roll to snort that.
that's no joke. Oh,
Son out here.
and
That that
him
that booger sugar.
they about to give him that damn Warner Brother money. He gonna go crazy. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Say less. Let's see. Um, things saying my connection is stable again.
Boom boom. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes
Yeah, man. I
on
mean,
Sunday.
hopefully it's a good time. Uh, I know that I feel that their match will be pretty good. I don't
Yeah.
doubt that.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, Anico probably goes over. Jericho
Yeah.
take the L.
Yeah.
You know, should be straight. Should be straight. Now in other news, because it's funny, all these things are pretty much sort of outside the ring news. I guess we have a whole episode of outside the ring hot tag shit.
Yeah.
Now that I look at it, but we finally have a release date for the AEW video game
Fight forever.
Fight Forever, which apparently is sort of like supposed to inform you about the type of game it is. So apparently, this is not a game that'll be coming out every year.
Yeah,
This
it
is
won't be an
it's like
annual
a
release.
it's like a general joint that they'll continue to update, sort of like a Call of Duty or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, from what I've seen, oh sorry, it drops June 29th, by the way. But for what I've seen, looks very arcadey. It looks like it could be fun.
Yeah. Yeah,
Certainly
the
an
graphics are
alternative.
definitely not what WWE game standards are now, graphic wise.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I'm a simulation fan, so I know people be poo-pooing on simulation. I like to play games that look like what I watch on TV. That's me.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't mind having an alternative, and I do look forward to seeing how well the game actually plays.
Yeah.
I do look forward to that. I'm glad I got a date. I am going to get the game. I'm going to support. It's been a long time since we had options of different brands of video games. You know, it's been a very long time. The WCW went away 22 years ago. Maybe around
Damn, it's been that long already.
This past March probably made 22 years. So,
Damn.
you know, it's been a long
I
time
could have
since.
had a kid. I could have been at the bar with my child if I had got someone pregnant that year.
Real talk.
Although I was only a teenager, so yeah, nah. I was a responsible young man.
Yeah. So it's It's a trip, man. I look forward to it. Like you said, the screenshots the videos I've seen look pretty cool.
Yeah, I've seen.
Um,
I think I saw footage like Orange Cassidy,
mhm.
like his character. He can put his hands in his pockets during the match and wrestle with his hands in his pockets,
Oh,
and
that's
can
fly.
even pin with his hands in his pockets. Um, the one thing that stood out for me was the amount of blood that they have in this game. Like the ring is stained with blood.
I'm all right with
Like
that. I'm all
yeah,
right with
like yeah, the thing I'm because in most wrestling games you see blood on the wrestler, but you won't see it in the environment.
it. Used to be that
Uh,
way in some of these old WWF games a little bit, but then like what you
mhm.
would see during the match, eventually like the blood that would drip on the ring, they would eventually go away.
Yeah, it'll just fade away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the fact that it stays is pretty cool. I'm not mad at that at all.
yeah, and I think they have a basically every kind of match type that you've seen in AEW already, except which was a glaring omission, no blood and guts.
That's
Unless
in,
that's going to be an update or a patch later on.
maybe there'll be a patch.
Yeah,
They may. I mean, there's a lot that they have to sort of sift through. I feel like. Well,
yeah,
I don't
because
know.
some
Maybe
like the entire roster isn't even on. They still have to up. They're going to be doing like monthly updates to add people. Like people who were signed for years aren't in the game yet.
yo,
Like
but my man Phil is in that shit,
yes, he is.
and your boy Cody is in that. Shit. Nah, I
He
said,
is.
yeah,
I
that
think that I
I
think
love the little pockets like this where it's like,
yeah, I
yeah,
like that
man,
they didn't take Cody out after he left because that would look corny. Honestly, that would look
he
corny.
built this, bro.
Yeah,
What you mean? What you mean?
regardless of how you feel about either company,
Let me ask you a
that
question.
man. Hmm.
Do you think when this whole thing started with the elite
Yeah,
and Cody got with them in the states, who was the biggest name in your opinion?
out of the four of them.
Yeah.
It was Cody first, then Young Bucks, and then was Young were Young? I think yeah, Young Bucks were more popular in America than Kenny because they while they both wrestled in New Japan, Kenny went there first, and while Kenny was there initially, the Young Bucks were in TNA as Generation Me, and they wrestled for PWG in California, the indie based out there. So they solidified their names here in the States before going to Japan. Kenny solidified his name in Japan
Right.
and then came to the States.
Okay.
So I'd definitely go Cody and then the Bucks because before this, Cody was wrestling for every independent company
I remember he went
he
on to do a
could.
world tour. I remember.
Yeah, and like on the main event level too. It wasn't like he was just, oh, just a special match. Like he was,
He fought. I remember he fought Kurt Angle one. Of them. I remember
yeah.
he had some matches.
And
I
then
I asked because I'm like,
mhm.
well, yeah, definitely keep him in the game. He's the reason why so many eyes turn to this brand.
Oh yeah,
Um,
100%,
you
100%.
know, and so I just want to make sure I was like correct in my thinking because
Yeah,
I seen some Young Buck stuff. And I knew who Kenny Omega was.
yeah,
So, but I didn't never seen really a match necessarily. You know what I mean? So I'm like, it had to be Cody, man. Like that really put a face to the name. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Hands down, hands down. Like even the staunchest AEW supporters would have to admit that.
Yeah, they better recognize, man. Shout out to the blonde guy, yo.
And
Yeah.
they got the cast on his own now, looking like Cowboy Bob Orton.
Yo, it's that whole thing is funny. I was watching they did like a press conference for Night of Champions
Hmm.
out there in front of the stadium today, and Triple H was with Cody, and he's like, Michael Cole asked him like, "Yo, why is he fighting if his arm is broken?" And you could just see like Cody just in character, just like, "Oh, why'd you have to bring that up?" Like just the whole thing is funny, man. I love how dedicated he is to what's happening. I love how dedicated Brock is to what's happening. It's a fresh
Yeah.
it's a fresh view of Brock. I don't think it's gonna be much of a match. But I thought it'd be cool just to discuss with the announcement of this Fight Forever AEW
Hmm.
game. Like what games, what memorable wrestling games did you play coming up? what were some of the favorites? You
So I
know,
think the first one I ever played was I played one for Nintendo, like the original NES. I can't remember what the name was, but it was a WWF one.
Mhm.
It might have been Royal Rumble game. I'm not sure. And then there was one for Super Nintendo that I played as well. But the thing about those games are so nostalgic for like the 2D sprites they had. Like that's every old wrestling game. It just I don't know what it is. That visual always stuck to me.
Yeah,
But as far as getting into when I started really getting into video games and wrestling, my first one was Warzone.
I got Warzone also. Yeah,
I had it for Nintendo 64.
I had it for PlayStation.
See, so what
Yeah,
sucked about Nintendo 64 so when you had it for PlayStation, when you go into the move list, they would have the finishers there, right?
yeah.
Nintendo 64 didn't. You had to go on the internet and look up what the finishers were for each wrestler on Nintendo 64. Like, what kind of shit is that?
I don't miss Acclaim making the games because of the damn combinations. You have to really
Yeah.
memorize button combinations, which I hated.
Yeah, that shit was like, just let me punch, kick, and you know what I'm saying? And the roster was very small on that game.
Yeah, they were just starting out. I think that was the
Yeah.
first 3D WWE game.
Yeah. Yeah. So they couldn't
Um,
really. And I mean, if you
which featured
Google,
which featured Bret Hart.
yeah. So it had Brett and Owen and Bulldog. They might have had Neidhart. I'm not sure.
I,
I don't think so. I think it was
I
just
don't think
Brett,
so.
Owen, and Bulldog.
Yeah, and then they had Triple H,
Triple H,
Kane,
Shawn
Stone Cold,
Michaels, Kane, Stone Cold, Austin, Rock, Undertaker,
I think Goldust.
Goldust, Ken Shamrock,
Ahmed Johnson is in it.
Ahmed Johnson, and then
Farouk.
Farouk,
I think
and
that's it.
then yeah, that was it. It was
I
very.
think
I
that's
don't
it.
think they had any woman on it in it.
Nah. Now it got crazier when you got to Attitude. That
Yeah.
roster was stupid. That was a
See, I never
big
played
ass
that.
roster.
I never
You
played that.
you still have a PlayStation at your crib, or or PS2?
Nah,
All
I
right,
got PS3 and a PS4.
yeah, I'll come by sometime. I'll bring my PS2 over one day. I have Attitude here. I have a lot of
Okay.
old wrestling games here,
I
but
think I might have played it like at my cousin's house,
bruh,
but I never.
everyone of that time period is in that.
Yeah.
Like Draws is in that game.
Oh
Like
shit.
it's like a lot of it basically plays the same way as Warzone, but
Yeah.
there's more options. They have like create a pay-per-view feature in
Hmm.
Attitude. They got to create an arena feature in Attitude. There's blood, you
So
know.
that's when WWE started really expanding into what modern video wrestling video games are now.
Yeah, corporate rock, you know.
Oh yeah. Okay, I remember that. I remember. Yeah, I
You know.
remember.
Yeah, it was a good game. It was a good game.
Yeah.
For its time. I'm trying to think. First, my earliest memories of wrestling games are probably definitely in the arcades, definitely like WrestleFest and
Hmm.
stuff like that. I was enamored of it. I thought those things looked so cool.
Yeah.
Um, and just seeing like they used to really have like the little fake entrances, or you'll come down in the little ring, the mini ring thing, and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
attention to detail. They'll have like Mean Gene in the cutscene talking to the Road Warriors, and I just thought that was amazing. But for consoles, I think the first wrestling game I owned for my PlayStation was Attitude. But for my Game Boy, I had Monday Night Raw. I think it was the first thing I bought for my Game Boy.
Okay.
That had Diesel, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Owen, Doink, I think, Undertaker, and Lex Luger, I think. It was in. And then at one point I had once I started getting on the little roll, then I bought a game. They came out with a King of the Ring game in like '93 for Game Boy
Okay.
that LJN put out. Graphics are trash, but I just
Yeah.
had to have my hand on anything wrestling. So Mr.
Yeah.
Perfect is in that game. I don't have that game anymore, I don't think, but Mr. Perfect was in that game. Razor Ramon is in that game, which I thought was
Mhm.
cool. I can't remember who else. I mean, Shawn Michaels brought hard the regulars, but I can't remember who else. But I think when I think about like the ones that really stand out for me, when I got to high school, And they
Yeah.
when basically when SmackDown changed everything for me. So SmackDown, the first one is amazing.
Yes.
Then they started doing like backstage areas. That's the same time when they had Mayhem, and they started flirting with backstage areas. WCW Mayhem
Yeah.
and WWE SmackDown.
So before Mayhem, so like outside of so after um Warzone, I was like, I'm not buying another W game. Not yet. So
Mhm.
I got WCW NWO Revenge.
Oh boy,
And
now you're
that shit
talking.
changed. That shit blew my mind.
The N64 really, they cooked us in terms of the multiplayer aspect of
Yeah.
gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With the full controller slots and shit.
bruh. Something
Like,
between Revenge, but I think before Revenge, they had something called World Tour, and it was
okay.
basically the same. It was basically the
So
same
so it
thing.
was I think so I thought it was Revenge World Tour then Mayhem. So it's probably World Tour Revenge then
Yeah,
Mayhem.
because like
Okay.
Revenge is like WCW's version of No Mercy,
Yeah.
and
Well,
World
it
Tour
came out
is like
before No Mercy. It came out
Mhm.
before No Mercy. Yeah.
I think they took the developers and then did their thing, and then like
Yeah.
World Tour is basically their version of WrestleMania 2000. So it's like,
Okay.
on the
Okay.
like it's similar and a little bits
Yeah.
of progress in it. Before they had those WCW games, they did have a Nitro for WCW, but I didn't enjoy it. They had a Fan 64 also, but
Oh,
I
no,
didn't.
I don't remember that.
I got Nitro and Thunder for on the PlayStation, even currently, but they're not fun to play.
Oh, okay.
They're not fun to play at all.
Nah,
Um,
Revenge was my shit.
Revenge was good stuff,
Like,
man.
because it had,
WCW rosters were crazy.
because it was that's when WCW versus NWO was the thing. So they had WCW,
Mm-hmm.
they had NWO, they had NWO Wolfpack,
Yep.
then they had cruiserweights,
Mm-hmm.
and then they had like the created like Aki Man
All the
and
developers in there, that was so stupid.
fucking Hanzo Man and all these Kimchi and all these other weird off-brand wrestlers. But my favorite thing, so with Revenge, you can go and change the wrestler's appearance, and
Yeah.
they had every wrestler's retro look along with their current look. So you could take Crow Sting and turn him to Surfer Sting. You could take Hollywood Hogan, turn him to Hulk Hogan, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I love that shit. And you could come out with a manager. I think that was the first game that you come out with a manager and
Okay.
just the whole button, like the whole controls that THQ came up with.
They made life
Perfect.
simple. They made like CHQ
Yeah.
definitely made life simple. I also think, well, I don't think they're a company anymore, but they're not a publishing company. But the company that put out the first SmackDowns, Ukes,
Ukes, yeah, they're still in it. They're
they
still
are
in the game.
behind the AEW game.
Yeah.
They helped
Yeah.
make that. So I expect certain types of similarities.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, SmackDown to me was like when they started doing, because I saw what y'all was doing over there in N64. So I seen TLC matches and Sean No More. I said I was
Yeah,
cute.
yeah, yeah.
Then we had the special referee. I was like, oh, we got special referee in SmackDown. SmackDown 2 dropped, and then it came with the ladder and TLC matches and the
Yeah.
Hell in a Cell. I was like, oh, although the Hell in a Cell
Yeah.
was wonky in the beginning because it was stuck to the ring, but it was their first try. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
But I think
think
my favorite on the PS2 was probably SmackDown versus. It's probably Here Comes the Pain because of the roster.
it's always a debate between Here Comes the Pain and Shut Your Mouth.
Shut Your Mouth had a great roster too,
Yeah.
but you had more of a move set in Here Comes the Pain is what I
Hmm.
like. Um, yeah, Shut Your Mouth was good. That was the first one that had like some NWO people in it. Ric
Yeah.
Flair was in it. RVD
Which
was in Shut Your Mouth.
which one was the one where you could walk around backstage and just talk to wrestlers in
Shut
like
Your
first
Mouth.
person view? That was Shut Your Mouth?
Y'all Shut Your Mouth.
Because I will create a wrestler,
And it looked
do the
like
story
Madison
mode.
Square Garden.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that first feud was always with Reverend Devon.
Yeah.
My first feud was always with Reverend Devon. And I remember that shit like it was yesterday.
That's jokes.
I
That's
don't was Deacon Batista in the game? I don't know if Deacon Batista. It might have been just
Batista
Reverend
came
Devon.
in and Here Comes the Pain. I remember that
Yeah,
distinct. And his overall wasn't even crazy. I think it was like a 78.
yeah,
I
yeah,
remember that. Because Here Comes the Pain is so wild because that joint had Brock Lesnar, Goldberg, and Big Papa Pump. Like,
mm,
I was like, bro, this is This
Big
is
meaty
it,
men slapping meat.
son. On top of Big Evil Undertaker, Hollywood Rock,
Mm-hmm.
like Triple H with the red tights, like Evolution Triple H, like it's
Nah,
just
that's nah,
it's a nice cool period. It's right that
nah.
WrestleMania 19 roster was a perfect balance of the Attitude Era and what will become Ruthless Aggression. Like it was.
Yeah.
So I really like Here Comes the Pain. In recent years, there was a one of the WWE games that had where they basically had they brought you back to the Attitude Era, put mad Attitude Era people in it. I don't remember which one it was. It could be 12 or 13. One of the three. It was I had it for 360. But
What are the 2Ks?
yeah, it wasn't 2K yet though, because it was Ukes was still making it.
Okay.
So it was like they called it like W13 or W12, whatever it was. So I think the one that had CM Punk on the cover might have been the one with the Attitude Era roster on it. There's another one that came out that had, or it could have been the same one, but there was another one that came out that had like the Undertaker streak was a part of that game.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
And you
yeah.
could do every WrestleMania, could have celebrated 30 years of WrestleMania the same year. I thought that was a good one.
Yeah.
And then right before they came out with that really bad one in 20, I never bought that one. But
No, I didn't get that.
19, 2K19, that shit was
I
fire.
need that because I think the last one I bought was the one with damn, was it the one with Austin or the one with Cena on the cover?
I just bought the Cena one because I I haven't even played it yet. I just bought it just because they got the Triple H versus Shawn Michaels SummerSlam match in there in the showcase.
Hmm.
There's a whole that's like a Shawn Michaels showcase and that shit I didn't know about.
Then I
So I
then I got the
figured
one with Austin on the cover. Then I think
I don't have that one. That one
because there
got
was
his showcase where he got ECW matches and shit.
because here's the thing, like I always based the games, like me buying them, off how deep their create a wrestler system because I'm a customization. Like I create whole rosters. I don't even create a wrestler. I create whole rosters in these games. But
Okay. You would love the new stuff then, son, because the community creations now is like
yeah, I be seeing them online. I'm like, yo, this
it's
shit. I don't think I have the
intimidating.
time anymore though. That's the
I can't
thing.
even play it. I just want to download people's stuff. I don't have time to
Yeah,
download people's stuff and just connect it to the right. It's like I'm gonna do it one day, but it's no
yeah.
joke.
I remember once upon it might still be going on now, but there was a forum dedicated just to creating wrestlers. So it would have so when you're tuning the faces and everything in 2K, it's by numbers. So you got like, oh, the cheek is gonna be like 55, the cheek's gonna be 55, forehead gonna be, all those sliders. So this forum had the exact number for each slider you had
Yes.
to do to create wrestlers
I used to do
outside of
those.
WWE. I used to study them shits, print them out,
I used to
spending
go on this
hours
shit
making
called
shit.
GameFAQs.com. GameFAQs was one of my favorite places to go.
GameFAQs is still around.
Yeah, I used to go on there and get codes, cheats, but also they'll do your CAWs.
Hmm.
And I would, if I felt like, oh, how's that? This how you get Scott Hall? I'm like, oh, word, you could do this, and
I
I'll
used to,
try it.
yo, I
And
love that shit. I
sure
loved it.
enough, it worked out. If you
And
give
then
yourself enough time.
I can't, I'm not gonna remember which one it was, but one of those 2Ks had such an exquisite. It might have been the one before the Cena one.
Okay.
Has such an exquisite creator wrestler section, and then they stripped it down to its bare bones the next game, and everyone hated it. It was like you
Sometimes,
gave people so many options the first game, and then you take it away the next game.
sometimes when they make a new game, I feel like some of the old modes might make it crash, and they
Yeah, had to
understand that.
sacrifice to
It
make other.
sucks. It sucks for the player though, because I mean they did the same thing. I feel like last year with the 2K's create an entrance.
Hmm.
Like they just made it mad bare bones. I like when you could be detailed with it, so I could throw some pyro in because people interests change. People add pyro.
Yo,
I'd love to
that's
do
the one. The one I have. The last 2K I bought had that, so you could add the pyro.
that. Mm-hmm.
You could time the pyro whenever you
Mm-hmm.
want. You could change the
Mm-hmm.
lighting. You could change the lighting on the audience. You could change the lighting
Mm-hmm.
on the stage. Like they would let you change each section. So you could do entrance,
Mm-hmm.
ramp, and then ring. And that shit was just all tied together so beautifully. And see, that's the thing. You can give me a game where I think there's a game called EWR or
Okay.
or it's called Fire Pro. One of those two games.
Fire Pro.
where
I have one
it's
of these Fire Pro games for the PlayStation 5.
yeah, so it's basically just a create your own company.
Mm.
So and I think they have wrestler templates of like every wrestler ever,
Mm-hmm.
basically. So you can make rosters of like a Dean Ambrose prototype or something like that. But I think those are like those fully custom. I couldn't get into those because I feel like that was too much.
Yeah, it's a little deep, man. I
Yeah,
like
that's
to
like
have them for the novelty of having these things sometimes,
yeah,
just to throw it on.
yeah.
But
But I look at that and I look at that like, yo, I got like I compare that. That is the PC gaming of wrestling games.
yeah, I agree. I agree.
Like you got to be dedicated to gaming to do PC game because I can't do that shit or I don't want to do that shit.
Yeah, I just want to unwind sometimes. I mean, I
Hell
tried.
yeah.
Look, I tried doing this John Cena mode in this new one. This dude is fighting mad hard on easy. I'm like, bro, just get on the damn barricade. Let me do the damn Van Dam thing, and let me. I haven't gotten past the Van Dam match. That's the first match. I haven't gotten past that.
What one night stand?
Yeah, that's the first match.
Oh shit.
I
Okay, I
haven't
thought
got
they would
past
have.
that yet. I tried like
I,
three times. I was like, nah, man, I'm gonna do it when I got patience.
I thought they would have done some U.S. title runs, some of his
I
early
don't.
U.S. title runs first.
So this is supposed to be chronicling his losses. So you're
Oh, okay,
trying to.
okay,
So you're trying. I guess he's trying to avenge his losses. You're fighting against him. You know what I
okay,
mean? And you got to try to beat him in all the losses that he had. That's my understanding of it. But
okay.
I ain't get past the first challenge yet. I'm gonna do it one day, but I ain't got past the first challenge.
Yeah,
It is what it is.
yeah. But I think my favorite would have been WrestleMania 2000. Just holds a special place in my heart for some reason, and it might be my favorite. And then I got Here Comes the Pain after that. Here's one I have that I don't think anyone else really had because I was weird. I was a weird kid in the neighborhood buying. Everyone's getting PlayStations, PlayStation 2s. Like PlayStation 2 was my first introduction to Sony.
I think it's
Other
the
than that, I
best
was buying.
system created.
Yeah, yeah, it
So many
really is. It
freaking
really is.
games.
It
Oh
really
my
is.
god.
But I was the one getting Nintendo 64s.
Okay.
GameCube. I had a fucking
Oh,
GameCube.
using the GameCube and stuff. I was way more into graphics, man. I couldn't do it with GameCube, man.
You see, because you
I
know what it
couldn't.
was? All my friends had PlayStation. All my friends in the neighborhood had PlayStation. I could just go to their house and play it. But I was the only one with GameCube. So when you went to do those party games, you came to my crib.
And it was
It was
easier to
only
get people involved.
yeah. But I had a game called I think it was called Day of Reckoning.
I remember that Day of Reckoning.
Day of Reckoning for GameCube. That game was mid,
Oh, it wasn't good.
mid.
Oh,
It
I thought
wasn't. It was mid. It wasn't. It wasn't awful, but it wasn't just like after the whole slew of SmackDown games.
right.
This is what you give us for Nintendo players.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, they did
damn.
shaft you guys, man.
Yeah, I think Batista was on the cover of that. I think
I
if I
feel like there were
remember.
several people on that cover. I feel like I saw Tori
Yeah,
Wilson on that cover.
it might be. Yeah, but yeah, that
Um,
shit. Nah,
Day of Reckoning.
nah.
Was that the last GameCube wrestling game? Can you remember?
I think they did Day of Reckoning 2.
I think they did. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think there might have been a second one.
Oh,
There
shout
might have.
out! Xbox had some really bad wrestling games when on the first Xbox. The Xbox
Oh
had
yeah,
Raw and Raw 2, and they both played not good. I think I owned Raw 2 at one point, and that was the first time they had to create an entrance where you could do it more detail.
yeah,
That was the best feature where they had it as detailed as it is now in terms of timing and pyro and shit like that.
yeah,
But no, I did not like the Xboxes, the first Xboxes wrestling games. I got 360 eventually, and I did enjoy wrestling games on there. But whoever was developing those other joints beforehand, before Ukes got involved and started making them over there, bad wrestling games, yo.
trash,
Bad wrestling.
trash.
That's a trip. But that was it's a quick little try down memory lane, man. I'm looking forward to new energy being infused into this sector of video game. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Hopefully,
and
Fight
this,
Forever is the shit.
yeah, and it's gonna be interesting them using this model of just a one-time purchase with updates. We'll see how that works out. But Yeah, I'll get it. I'm gonna
It's
get it.
something though that you could think about doing also. I mean, but you know, because right now I think they got the graphics right. They just gotta like,
Yeah. And
update.
game development takes so long too. They just probably didn't want to deal with that anymore. Like, just make one, keep updating it. Boom.
Yeah, yeah, and they know people have been clamoring for it. They're like, come on, you said it was coming. I don't hear nothing about the other little apps and other little games they're coming out with. They're trying to give you all these other things to wet your whistle in AEW.
Oh yeah, like
Give
little casino games and
Yeah,
shit.
give us the damn console game, please. Stop
Like
playing.
I'm not a phone game person.
Never been.
I
Although I did
maybe
enjoy
have
Angry Birds. I think that was one of the coolest things ever.
yeah, like I had Angry Birds. Like if there were games on my phone, it would be like Angry Birds. I have some like Super Mario Run shit that like, but that's like when I'm in the airport waiting for my flight trying to kill time.
Right.
Or it's always some like trendy shit, like when everyone was playing Words with Friends,
Yeah.
or when everyone was doing that. I remember that once upon a time they had that picture drawing one
I
where
don't
you
know
had to
about
draw
that
the
one.
picture and guess what it was, but what is on the phone, so you had to draw the picture with your fucking finger,
I'm trying
so
to
it
think of the
always
other
looked
one.
terrible.
What was the name of the one it was like some type of a run and you had to hop over shit?
Temple Run,
Temple Run.
Temple Run, yeah,
There you go. That
yeah. Time wasters like that.
and unblock me in one of them joints. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
type up the
unblock
block.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah, you got to
I
move the
used to
blocks to
fuck
get
with a
the red
little
block
bit,
out.
but
Yeah,
not to the point where I'm gonna play AEW video game. Like not in
yeah.
my 30s.
Like
I was doing that shit I was doing that shit in college. I was doing shit in college.
I see people on the train on a Android playing full on like RPGs and shit. I'm like, bro,
Well,
what?
on the Androids, when I was in college, before Google took it over and really started like managing shit a certain way, I used to
Mhm.
have like NBA Jam on my phone. I used to have like real shit on my phone,
Oh
and
shit.
they used to have emulators, and you could shoot. I had NBA Live, like one of the older ones. I had some dope stuff on some old phones,
Yo,
boy.
that Android OS, that's think
On,
that's why people loved it because
on
you
my
could jailbreak it
AT&T.
and just customize it however you want.
The Play Store, what became the Play Store, but you had a marketplace at the time, or whatever. It was a
Hmm.
free for all back in like 2010, 09,
Shit.
2011. Like it was when I say I was playing Jam on the regular, like Sonic, like yeah,
Oh,
it was
listen,
fun.
I got an emulator on my computer, so like I can play some No Mercy later today if I want.
Do you got the mods for these things? Because they got mods and they put like current rosters in some of these mods and whatnot.
So my emulator is like not open source.
Okay.
So I think I just have the base level of these games. I don't think I could customize or do anything like that. And I don't know. I don't think my computer has the power to do that anyway.
Okay.
My computer's pretty not pretty old, but it's a few years old. So, but I think yeah, I have WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy on it. No Mercy lags a little though. It does lag because it's a huge game.
You don't have your 64 anymore.
Yo, I think someone stole it.
Oh nah, son.
I
You
think someone
got it.
stole it out my crib.
One that sucks, number one. But number two, I made a
I left it at someone's house and they never even attempted to let me know or return it.
damn son. I have a couple years ago I bought a Genesis
Yeah.
just to keep on the side, just to throw on from time to time. And what I realized about especially systems that do cartridges, like cartridges don't really go bad.
No, they don't.
You could play them forever.
Hmm. You just got to keep them out of like extreme heat and water, and that's it.
So if you find yourself wanting to get back to it for real, like eBay you a 64,
I need
'cause
to. I
them
need
joints
to.
are gonna work forever.
I'm gonna do that. I'm definitely gonna do that because I've been like either outside of wrestling, I have other games that I've been wanting to play again.
Yeah, I got some stuff here, man. I threw it on a couple weeks ago. It was a good time. So I mean, I
I
think
mean, I got like
64.
the like little mini joints they was releasing, which had like a bunch of games on them, but the Genesis one was trash.
Yeah, that's my thing with that is it's that you're beholden to whatever they want to put on it.
Yeah, and it's
I'm not
always
into other
like
stuff.
they'll give you something. They'll give you like Sonic 1, 2, and 3, and then it'd be like Altered Beast or like some shit like some weird fighter pilot game from like 1989 that was made in Japan but released for the Genesis in 90. Like, bro, get that shit out of here. I'm trying to play the fucking A-tier games.
Straight up.
Like I'm trying to play Bulls versus Blazers on Sega Genesis. Niggas don't know about Bulls versus Blazers.
Ah man, them those are intense games, man. I think I have Live 96 for the Genesis, man. And I think in the beginning of that game they were talking about doing like an expansion draft for like the Grizzlies and the Raptors or something. I was like,
Oh
what?
shit.
I was like, what a time, yo. What a
Damn.
time.
Whew.
That was a fun game, man. That was a fun game. But
Yeah.
yo, been fun going down this little trip down memory lane. Looking forward to these games. Looking forward to this really full Memorial Day weekend of wrestling. Uh,
Yes.
so I hope everyone listening, man, enjoy the shows.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
got what? Impact Under Siege tonight.
it's a cool name.
WWE Night of Champions. PLE tomorrow, streaming on the Peacock. And then
Tomorrow afternoon. It ain't really the night.
oh,
It's the
what
noon
time?
of it's the noon of
Oh, because
champions.
it's in that's right, it's in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, it's the
So
noon of
what time?
champions. I think it's
Oh
like
damn.
one. I think it's like 1 p.m.
Oh shit, that might be watchable.
Yeah, I might be able to catch it.
Oh, depending, like not the whole show, but I might be able to. Yeah, all
Yeah,
right.
let me catch some of it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then we got Double or Nothing on Sunday. Um, I think the only matches that were added since we recorded last week were well, spoiler because they're gonna announce it tonight on Rampage. Trios title match is gonna be Acclaimed and Billy Gunn versus the House of Black, and then
You don't got a chance.
nah,
I
but I
love I
like
love the acclaim. I love Billy Gunn.
you know what it is. They're the most over tag team. You got to have them on the pay per view. You
Fair
got to
enough.
have them, and
They got
FTR is already defending the titles. So, and I think the other match,
FTR is fighting who?
Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And then I think, well, this might be a pre-show match now. Matt Hardy, the Hardys, and Hook, since Isaiah Cassidy's hurt, versus I almost call them the Smoking Guns. Word to their daddy, the Guns, just the Guns,
The
and
Us
Ethan
Boys.
Page. Yeah, the Booty Boys.
All right. All right. That'd
Yeah,
be a
should
fun
be.
match. That'd be a good
Yeah,
opener.
yeah.
Shout out to Jeff Hardy, man. Keep it up. Stay on the straight and narrow. You know what I mean?
Word, keep your nose, well, not nose, keep your liver clean.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Whatever you got to do to manage that. But I look forward to it, yo. It's been fun, yo. I look forward to checking some of this stuff out.
Yes, no rundown. We did the rundown last week of the
Yeah,
card, so we ain't
man.
gonna do it again this week.
We could do some reviews next week's episode.
Yeah,
What came with things, you know what I mean?
but I don't think I have any last notes to add. Yeah, we talked about Mercy. Yeah, yes, that's it. We done. Shit.
We did good, y'all. We did
Yes,
good.
we did. I'm thinking. Yeah. Now I'm gonna play some No Mercy tonight. Yeah,
I'm
if
gonna
I
throw
don't end up going anywhere.
I'll throw something on, man. I'm gonna
Yeah,
throw
because
something.
it is a nice day on a Friday in New York City.
Yeah, we're not mad at it. It's pretty sunny. Those that might be watching the YouTube, like it's bright.
Yes.
Right. So yeah,
Yes.
definitely should pop out, if anything. You know what I mean?
And touch that grass.
Indeed, yo. I'm never
Touch
letting
some
that go.
ass.
I'm never letting that go, CM Punk. Thanks for that
Yeah.
phrase. I appreciate it. That's a good one. But yeah, until next
Word.
time, y'all.
Yes, yes. Be good to each other. We are out of here. Peace.